Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. Today I'm just going to be breaking down this sample I made with my homie
Scandi
for our upcoming sample pack Silhouettes, which is dropping January 15th, this Friday. It's got 15 samples in there from different styles. There's some R&B, there's some dark ambient kind of stuff, there's some synthy stuff, all kinds of good shit in there. But the main focus of this video is going to be breaking down this one sample in there. It's called Red Lights. It's one that I started and then Scandi finished. It's very R&B, maybe some like Black, Drake, Saweetie kind of thing. We actually made a beat with it that's kind of in Saweetie's style that I think turned out pretty fire. But yeah, I'm just going to go through how I made the sample and then I'll talk about the contributions Scandi made. I think he did the best part of the sample, not gonna lie, which is the vocals. But I'll go through all of the other stuff right now. So the first thing I did for the sample was this piano. It's just the LA Custom Grand from Keyscape with these chords. Lots of minor sevenths. I think one major seventh in there somewhere. But this pattern just sounds like this. So you'll notice that there's a lot of variation in the velocities as well as in the positioning of the individual notes. So they were originally all quantized, obviously, and then I hit Alt S to strum them. That messes with the velocities, which I don't want to do because they were already changed. But to mess with those, you just turn this knob up. You can mess with the tension knobs if you want. I do usually, but you don't have to. The time one's the most important. I think I had it probably around here, around 2:30 o'clock to give this kind of slope. And then I also just went in and I held Alt and I just moved, oops, not all of them, but I held Alt and I just moved a couple of the individual notes around to give more of a humanized feel. So you can see in some of these, like it goes F, G sharp, then the C, then the A sharp, then the D sharp, instead of just in line up in a slope like it normally would with Alt S. Don't know if any of that made sense, but it adds more of a humanized feel to it, like an actual person is playing it instead of just a robot, which is actually playing it. But yeah, so there's that. So for that main piano's effects, I started with an RC20 and just put it on the Vinyl 3 preset, and I turned down the noise a bit because it was a little overpowering at first. I don't think I really messed with any of the other knobs. I really like that preset. Then I went to this GHz Low High 3 preset, which is just a low pass filter that gives kind of a special character that I haven't really found with other plugins, so I use it quite a bit. Then I went into the GHz Wow Control plugin. I think this is just the default 33.3 RPM vinyl preset. Ambience, just the default preset, but then I turned the time down and the pre-delay off, brought the width down and diffusion down. Then just an EQ to clean it up a bit, boost a couple spots I thought needed boost, and rolled off some highs. And finally a cassette on the default preset, I think, and then I just messed with the noise knobs and some of the artifacting. So without any of that, it sounds like this. And with. So it just makes it a lot older, a lot more vintage analog sounding. After that, went into Keyscape again for the LA Custom Chorus preset on the Rhodes. And I just copied the same exact chord progression onto that, but without effects it sounds like this. Really pretty Rhodes with effects. So I really fucked that sound up. I just did a high pass, then I threw reels on there. This is the settings I used. I think this is all custom off the default preset if you want to copy those. And then an ambience, same deal, just mess with the default preset a bit. So together, they sound like this. So a really old vintage feel so far. Next thing I played was what I called the response pad, which is the same chords, just offset by 2 beats. So it plays where the snare would be. It's with this one shot, which is from a Kill September one-shot kit, and it sounds like this. So it's pretty buried in the mix without effects. It is the same chord progression as the other keys, but on this one, when I hit Alt S, I turned on alternate direction so that this way it starts with the lowest note quantized, and then they get further pushed to the right the higher it goes, and then every other chord is the opposite, where the high note is quantized and the lowest is the most offset, which just gave a nice little variation. Then I just threw a TAL Chorus LX. I turned on both chorus types, and then stereo width all the way up, wet all the way up, and then a Valhalla Room preset. I'm pretty sure this is just the default preset, yeah. So that just adds some ambience, and it just buries it back behind these chords. So it's almost like a delay, but with a different sound than the original sound, if that makes sense. Then after that, I added this pad from Expand, which is the F Embellish preset from Soft Pads. Without effects, it sounds like this. So already a pretty cool, like, old school sounding pad. With effects, just dirties it up some more. First thing I did was micro shift, default preset. Then this J37 stereo tape machine plugin on the aquarium preset. I believe I just brought down these delays to 1. Yeah, I think. And then I messed with the low pass filter down here a bit. Then another cassette on the default preset. Mess with these knobs a little bit, dirty it up some more. Then this Panagement plugin, which I like a lot as like a gate effect, because it has 2 separate versions of like a gating. So there's the gain itself, which is the volume, and then there's the distance, which is like how far away from you it sounds, which is a really cool effect that I haven't found in any other plugin that I like a lot. So that's just going back and forth further and closer, so it gives a cool gated kind of feel. Then I also sidechained it with Shaper Box 2, and I also did this width preset, so it widens out and then shrinks to mono and then widens out again. And finally just this bandpass to cut off the lows and the highs. So with effects, and then that just sits underneath all the rest of these. I did find that it felt a little offbeat, so after I tracked it out, I did have to move it over a bit to make it feel on beat. Then the final melodic element I added was this little texture pluck, which is just this little guitar pluck. It's a one shot that's already super processed, but then I went and processed it even more, and I just played this kind of walk around of the scale. But I wanted it super buried just as like a texture, like I said here, texture pluck. So I threw a delay on it, just a quick 8th note delay. Then I threw this crush plugin on there, which is just a cool like bit crushing downsampling plugin. So I just turned up the crush and the downsampling, cut out the lows, and then just a moderately wet reverb. So that just makes it sound really old and kind of watery and almost percussion-like, I guess. So it just adds a cool texture underneath all of the rest of the melodic elements. Then after that, I threw these drums on there. So first was this loop. It's from an Only One kit. I think I just re-exported it after compressing it a bit, but this is what it sounds like. And then I layered a rim on top of that, which is also from an Only One kit, just to thicken up the snare hit. That rim I threw an OTT on. I just wanted it to feel more crispy. Then I threw a reels on it, just messed with the default preset once again. And then I sent both the drum loop and the rim to this bus where I bandpassed it, put it on the shrinked preset in Stereo Shaper. Then I threw an EQ on it to really boost these lower frequencies in it and then cut out the higher ones, just to make it even more crunchy. And then for even more crunch, I threw on the drum fattener preset in Decapitator and just brought the mix way down. And then before I sent it off to Scandi, I just exported the piano in that sign pad to separate audio tracks. I don't remember why I exported the piano, but the sign pad I remember was because it originally was a little offbeat, and I didn't want that. So I just shifted it to the left some so that it felt more on time, and then I fixed up the ending where it was messed up because of that. So altogether it sounds like this. Then the parts Scandi added were, like I said, in my opinion, what make the sample awesome. He added some vocals and a bass line. The main Vox he added. And then the bass line, there's this little walk into the bass. Super simple. I think it just follows the root notes of the chords, but it's very effective. So yeah, that's basically the sample. I will play the full thing after this. Thanks guys for watching, really appreciate it. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more like it, subscribe and comment and let me know that. Follow me on Instagram at proudby_instinct. Go sub to my main channel to hear all my actual beats. Go cop this sample kit, obviously, as well as my drum kit Vertigo, which dropped a couple months ago. You can use this code for both of those to get 25% off. And yeah, thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.